Dr. Jo Nifland here. So glad to be with you. Today we're talking about a very puzzling but solvable topic. We are talking about why do people overeat at home? You would think that your home would be a safe place where you could go and get away from all this food stimulation, thoughts of food, but instead you get home and it just gets worse until you are overeating in your home, right where you ought to feel safe. So let's go over some of the reasons why people overeat at home, and then we'll talk about what to do about it. So home has become what's called a place trigger. It's a place where you get triggered into overeating. And this is because you've had processed foods there before. So your brain is constantly looking, where are the most calories? Because for millions of years, famine, starvation is what killed people. So your brain is very tuned into looking for places where there's food. And since you've eaten at home, your brain immediately looks at your home and says, oh yeah, this is where we get those really, really calorie dense foods, those processed foods. Oh good, well we're gonna look for them. As soon as we get in that building, we're gonna look for processed foods and eat them all. So that is the first reason why your home triggers you into overeating. It's because you've overeaten there before. Now, the second reason why your home might be a trigger is because there might be stressful people there. Maybe they don't mean to be stressful, but maybe there's somebody there who's criticizing you about your eating, or maybe you have children there that are very demanding. Because when children eat processed foods, they don't have impulse control and they get upset very, very easily. Processed foods do that to children. They have a hard time learning or remembering. So you might have children there who are very hard to manage. So your first thought when you're under that kind of stress is, oh, I'll get something to numb that out. Yes, if you eat processed foods, you get about 20 minutes of relief, maybe zero, but then the stress comes right back and the cravings come right back. They are insatiable. To get away from those cravings, you actually have to go through a 4-day withdrawal, and your health professional can help you understand how to do that. You might also be tired. Maybe you come home at the end of the day, so you associate getting energy from food. People will use food as a pick-me-up. It's not because they're hungry, it's because they're tired. Just remember, processed foods are not food. Your body is reading them like drugs. So just like you might pick up a drug to pick yourself up, you pick up processed foods. But the irony is that processed foods actually make you more tired. So it's not helping. The other thing is you might be coming home hungry, absolutely hungry, because if you have missed meals during the day, or if you've eaten incomplete meals. Some people say, well, I don't eat during the day because I know I'm going to binge at night. Well, you're just perpetuating the hunger binge cycle. So get your meals on time and get complete meals. And if you need help figuring out what a complete meal is, you can email me, or I'm going to give you all my contact information at the end of this, or you can ask your health professional for help. Now, you could also have cravings, because cravings are triggered by exposure to advertising. If your office mate keeps sugar out on her desk, then you've been exposed to cueing, triggering, reminders, food stimulation all day, and your brain has been just building to more and more intense cravings until you get home and boom. Your brain will actually compete with the frontal lobe. Frontal lobe says, I don't want to eat that. Craving brain says you're eating it. Craving brain will win because the craving brain competes with the frontal lobe. And if you don't keep that craving brain under control all day long, it will win. It will beat the frontal lobe and it will take control of your behavior. So I hope that's helpful. The other thing that happens at home is television. Television is just an overeating stimulus. That's all it is. The research on this is absolutely clear. The more television people watch, the heavier they are, the more health problems they have. Television stimulates overeating. I know it's hard to give up TV, and you might just want to do it really gradually. But get around people who don't watch TV, and you'll be amazed at how easy it is to give it up. The other thing that you have at home typically is availability. Like the stuff is just sitting out there on the counter, it's in the refrigerator, it's in the garage, it's everywhere in your house. And because it's available and because the point of control has moved from frontal lobe, I don't want to eat that, over here to cravings, I'm eating it, then when you can actually put your hands on it, it's all over. That craving brain has control of your behavior, and there it is. So you're eating it. Now, the other thing you have at home is you have privacy. Nobody's going to see you eat a dozen whatever or eat the entire pack of whatever. So it's not like your office or your workplace. It's not like your work colleagues can see you. Wow, you ate that whole thing. No, there's nobody there to comment on it. Or there are other people there who eat that way too. So if you sit down and you eat a whole thing, there'll be somebody there to eat it with you. So that's another thing, which is not only is it available, but there are other people in that space eating it, eating processed foods. And that is a huge trigger. That engages a part of the brain called mirror neurons. And mirror neurons will drag you to copy the people around you. It's the most powerful part of the brain. So what can you do about this? What can you do to switch your home from being a relapse trigger into a recovery trigger? How can you switch it from being an overeating trigger to being a totally in control trigger? How can you switch it from a dangerous place to being a safe place? Well, there's a whole list of things you can do, and you've got to take it very, very slow. And you've got to work with somebody because this is a lot. You have to educate your family, and you need somebody by your side to do that. You need your health professional, or we'll give you some contact information to get help. You need somebody to just coach you through how you're going to talk to your family. How are you going to get the processed foods out of your house? And without, controlling other people in your family. You don't want to try to control them, except the children. The children don't get a choice. It's not in the house. It's so bad for them. So you do that, and then gradually you find other things to do other than watch TV. At some point you just put a tablecloth over that TV so it quits triggering you. You also work throughout the day to get full meals, fully portioned, on time, and snacks when you need them, but healthy snacks, a real clean protein with a real honest, real piece of fruit. Those kinds of things. You've got to work on your food throughout the day in order to have control in the evening, because it all builds up otherwise. And then you've got to watch your cueing, your exposure to advertising and availability throughout the day. Because if you have to go to a luncheon and you have to look at like 8 people eating some horrible dessert and it goes on for hours, that's way too much cueing. And the cravings are building up, just building up like crazy. So by the time you get home, you're binging. So these are the things that you can do. You've got to find the right support. That is absolutely crucial. Is you've got to get your mirror neurons to copy people who are already doing this, and you can do it. So work with your health professional, and you can also contact me. I am at foodaddictionreset@gmail.com. Our website is foodaddictionreset.com, and our Facebook group is Food Addiction Education. So I will see you in one of those places. You're not alone in this. Your health professional and I work together to get you the support that you need to make these changes and make your home into a safe house. This is Dr. Joan F. Land. I am so happy to have been with you. Thanks for watching this.